welcome to Good Game, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Bajo.
And I'm Junglist. Badge, let's cut to the chase this week because we've got a lot of game.
Hello fanboys, time to get excited because Orbital Drop Shock Trooper is about to land, and this time it's missing the Chief.
The Fab Four's career is reinvented as a game in the Beatles rock band. Plus, Guitar Hero 5. Mini Ninjas.
And we'll be meeting the voice behind Mario.
Welcome to my new galaxy, woohoo!
But first, can you guess the console for this week based on this clue? That's a bit hard, Jung. Here's another clue.
Answer at the end of the show. News time, Badge.
Batman Arkham Asylum appears to include a deliberate glitch that only surfaces when playing a pirated copy of the PC game. A user posting to the IDOS community forum complained about a bug in which Batman fails to use his glide ability in a certain section of the game. An IDOS admin was quick to reply to the complaint, posting, "The problem you have encountered is a hook in the copy protection. It's not a bug in the game code, it's a bug in your moral code." Snap. It seems Courtney has no love for Activision in the wake of the outcry surrounding Kurt Cobain's appearance in Guitar Hero 5. Even though Activision confidently states that Courtney Love herself signed the agreement allowing Cobain to be used as a fully playable character in the game, Love has threatened legal action, at least in her Twitter posts, calling the use of Cobain a breach of contract. Cobain's former Nirvana band members Dave Grohl and Chris Novoselic have since issued a combined statement also voicing their displeasure over the dead singer's treatment, calling on Activision to relock Cobain's character so he can't be used to mime other artists' songs. Achieving the maximum possible score in Pac-Man by eating every dot, every piece of fruit, and every blue ghost in all 256 levels until the game glitches out has been conquered in a new world record time. 40-year-old gamer David Race of Beaver Creek, Ohio, has clocked the pill-popping arcade game in a frenzied 3 hours, 41 minutes, and 22 seconds, reaching the perfect score of 3,333,360 points. The first person to achieve a perfect score in Pac-Man was none other than Billy Mitchell back in 1999.
Good game.
Jung, it's time once again for us to say, oh my god, Halos.
That's right, Badge. It's Halo ODST, and this time it's Master Chiefless. It's a prequel, and it's set on Earth, which is something Halo fans have wanted ever since Halo 2 failed to explore that fully.
You play a doomed space marine, a rookie, and a member of the ODST, which stands for Orbital Drop Shock Trooper, which is really hard to say 3 times fast. Come on, give it a go, John.
Orbital Drop Shock Trooper. Orbital Drop Shock Trooper.
A bungled drop leaves you alone at night and begins your quest to find your teammates and sort out just what has actually happened.
The Night Zone is a hub of discovery, and there's some good cityscapes to take in. There's good use of color and a truly provocative score, as well as some sexy film noir saxophone thrown in. Night vision is essential in this area, and you'll encounter scattered Covenant resistance as you wander about. Objects and locations will set you on team member flashback missions, which is where the bulk of the action takes place.
And this flashback design is a really fragmented way to tell a story, and it could have really worked, but it just doesn't. Often at times it's forced and really obvious, and there's lots of I see what you did there moments. Not only are you playing different characters, but it's also curious as to how the rookie is some sort of telepathic, futuristic time-space continuum investigator, and he's able to flash back to all these moments simply by picking up a bottle or touching them, and even though he wasn't actually a part of them. And I know it's a device to help tell the story and experience all the different characters, and that's really neat, but it makes for a mess. A fun mess, but a mess all the same.
I didn't train to be a pilot. Tell me I don't have any more flying to do today. So, Was that a yes or a no?
I give them points for going down this storytelling technique, but the writing needs to be there to support that choice, you know?
Yeah, there's not enough backstory and character building in the first place, so you don't really care about them, and often their interactions come across as absurd rather than the intended deep and meaningful.
Ones that aren't flooded are probably packed with buggers. Hell, I wouldn't go down there even if you ordered me to.
Come on, Veronica. What could be more important than that carrier?
My orders. And Buck, call me Captain.
Mickey, turn around. Find a safe place to set us down.
It's a shame because there's some really good voice acting here. Half the cast are from the awesome Weed and Firefly series, but at least the combat is still fun, and, you know, Bungie made FPS work on a console, and they have it down pat.
Yeah, I was a bit resistant to the auto-aim in Halo 3, but it grew on you, didn't it, Badge? I mean, you liked how once you were on an enemy, it still tracked it even though you were strafing.
Yeah, there's probably enough action here to keep Halo fans happy, but there's not much in the way of new enemies or weapons. The pistol's alright, and we only found one shotgun in the whole game.
Travesty.
I know, and the awesome Hammer Time stick only made a couple of appearances as well. I mean, this really feels like an expansion more than a prequel, and Bungie came out originally and said that this was going to be an expansion before it got repackaged into a full retail game, and you can see why.
Travesty.
4-player co-op does work great, but we beat this game on the second hardest difficulty setting in 4 hours and 20 minutes.
What?
4 hours and 20 minutes.
Luckily, single player goes at a different pace. It's more intense and fun, and really the way this slow, unfolding story should be played out. The battles are harder, and no co-op respawn means they carry more threat. You'll also have to scrounge for ammo.
You'll also find those tough points which challenge your strafing skills greater than or equal to the max. And in solo, the story makes more sense as well, just because you have more time to digest it. But Junk, there's only one flying mission.
What?
I know, and it's fun, but just like in Halo 3, if you drop out in co-op mode, you have to wait until everyone else dies or all the enemies are dead before you can respawn, and I didn't get to fly my plane. The most fun I had in co-op was actually just knocking out the NPCs and bashing my teammates in between fights.
You can see the Halo 1 influence creeping in towards the end, but I found myself missing those desert vehicle battles, Badge.
The code we had access to for this review didn't have any deathmatch multiplayer available, but we did play the new co-op mode called Firefight, which is a wave survival mode, very similar to Horde mode in Gears 2, which they're making a big deal about.
A team shares a set of lives, and you're thrown stacks of enemies over a series of maps where dropships will lay down troops. They'll also lay down cover fire. Like in the campaign, you can turn on certain skulls to mix up the action, like enemies that are a bit more cautious, or enemies that have confetti come out of their heads when you get a headshot.
Yeah, Firefight was okay. I know I'm being pretty negative here, but I was really looking forward to a change of pace with ODST. They could have gone down this whole rookie against the odds path with, you know, new look of weapons and a really gritty feel to it, but instead you just feel like a weaker Master Chief, and at times you just end up hating the game as opposed to reveling in the challenge. I'm giving it 7 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Shooters have come a long way since original Halo, and it's a sequel's responsibility to not only stay true to the universe, but provide enough new stuff to keep people interested. When I think about the strengths of ODST, all I can come up with is it works and it's accessible. Not enough to keep me interested. It's a good game, but top dollar for 4 hours and 20 minutes on hard? Come on, guys. It's nearly 2 years since Microsoft said they were going to finish the fight, and I think it's time for this fanboy to mail his membership card back to nolongercares.com. I'm giving it 6.
Flame shields up, Jung. We also spoke to Curtis Creamer, producer on ODST, and he let us ride in his Warthog.
Sort of what we were going for in the early days was the idea of this being sort of a film noir-ish detective story. We sort of really wanted to try to take a little bit of a different path, to see how we could sort of stretch the way that we tell story, the way that we could change up the gameplay mechanics a little bit, but still keep it feeling that same familiar Halo.
You can also catch an extended version of that interview on our website.
Tingles.
Charles Martinet, welcome to Good Games.
Oh, sure. Hello, it's me, Mario. Woohoo! And the Wario, have a rotten day. Oh, and the Luigi, and Waluigi, everybody cheating but me. And baby Luigi too, and baby Mario. Woohoo! I'm Charles Martinet.
When did you find out that Nintendo even needed someone to voice Mario?
I actually had never really heard of Nintendo. I had never heard of Mario, in my awareness. And a friend of mine called me up and said, you know, you should go crash this audition. I thought, oh, well, that could be fun. So, all right, I'll go. And I went over to the audition and late and knocked on the door and, you know, can I read for this? But the camera was already in the bag. The producer was ready to walk out the door. And he goes, all right, you're an Italian plumber from Brooklyn. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, Italian plumber from Brooklyn, that's, you know, hey, how you doing? I'm under your sink. Don't bother me, all right? Yeah, it's too coarse, you know, but luckily I'd played Gremio and Tammy of the Shrew a few years before. You know, nice old Italian guy, you know, that voice could be good. And all of a sudden I hear action. And I turn to the camera and I said in the voice you hear today, hello, it's me, Mario. Okie dokie, let's make a pizza pie together. Here we go.
Did you often make those noises when you actually play?
Yes, I do. And I walk down the street going, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, woohoo! The way I came up with the different voices is a fun story because all of a sudden I went to a consumer electronics show and there was a new character on the TV set, Wario. And they said, well, you know, this guy maybe, you know, sounds a little different. See what you can come up with as a voice. I just, you know, looking at it, I have a rotten day. Ooh, I love to be mean, you know. He's really good. And at the same time, like Waluigi, you know, hey, everybody cheated but me, emphasizing the personality traits of somebody who's maybe full of self-pity and entitlement, and Wario can be somebody who's angry and, oh, why isn't the world working my way, you know? And Luigi is like, well, I'm a little shy and I don't think I've got the courage my brother has, you know? You know, it's those characteristics of a personality that I like to emphasize.
So what's your favorite Mario game that you've worked on?
Oh, mamma mia, that's a tougher question. It's me, Mario. I have to say, the first time we ever did a Mario game, it was Mario 64, and I didn't realize just how magical a day it would be to be watching movies of Mario and then putting the voice to it, the gleeful jump and the leap and the wahoo and the falling off the wall, the wah! Everything was brand new, and you know, well, what would he do when you leave the controller on? Well, what happens? Well, maybe he goes to sleep, and so we came up with spaghetti, ravioli, mamma mia. You know, so everything was brand fresh and new, and I will always remember that game. I think one of the greatest things about Mario is that wonderful spirit and heart of Mario, the everyman plumber who falls in love with a princess and lives life facing adversity as adventure, always with a wahoo! You know, that's the man we all want to be.
Good game.
Badge, as a ninja, I feel it's important to teach the younger generation about our great heritage. IO Interactive feels the same way, and they're releasing mini ninjas.
I knew that teaching this ninja would be the most important task in my life.
Anti-pirate propaganda.
Don't worry, you'll get mini pirates soon, and no one will care. Besides, we've got a much older score to settle. There's an army of evil samurai taking over the land, and you need to take control over Hero, an unfortunately sized ninja who makes up for it with magical abilities.
Make campfire really fast.
There's very polished graphics and voicing throughout the game, and you can tell right from the start that even though this is made for kids, that doesn't mean they've skimped on the effort. You can switch between your different ninja friends on the fly to make use of their different abilities, such as the big hammer or the flute.
Yeah, the ninja flute. There's nice touches here and there, like being able to ride your hat as a boat, and while you're out there, why not go fishing? You don't need to fish, it doesn't progress the story, it's just kind of cool that you can do it.
And there's a lot of cool things Hero can do that his friends can't, such as sending his spirit into a forest animal, which we still haven't found a use for yet, since 99% of them are smaller than a bread box. But you end up doing it anyway because there's not many points in the game where you're in any real danger, so why not?
Combat is very simple. You spam X to thrash silly samurai who will either come running and screaming at you, or they'll be a little bit afraid. But later you'll come across harder enemies like spearmen that stick in formation. Then you whip out the ninjutsu. Ninja Fireball! Ninja Tornado! Ninja Smiggity Smash! My only beef is every now and then the controls stuff up. It's one of those games where you jump after you release the button rather than when you press it, so every jump feels unresponsive. And certain tricks like wall jumping and wall running, they didn't get quite right, so you might fall down a few chasms when it's the game's fault, not yours. It needs to be mentioned, but you'll probably come across it like 10 times in the whole game.
It's the little touches like running through the rain and doing little cute ninja versions of stuff that make this good for kids, and for adults it's tolerable because the humor isn't that bad. I'm giving it 7.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, I'll point out again, it's a kid's game. We're rating it thus. Adults should be better off with the Ninja Gaiden or the upcoming sequel to Mini Ninjas, Big Fat Ninjas. I'm kidding about that. I'm giving it 7.5 as well.
Smile!
Hey, that's cool.
Hey,
Where'd
come
you
on.
get that thing?
I found it. Come on, smile. It's a camera.
Take a photo. Not a camera. It's clearly a camera.
It's got a lens up the front.
Take a photo.
It's smile.
Cheers. No, that's not a camera. Dude, put the camera. Put it down. Don't point it at me. Don't point it at me.
Good game.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles!
Yeah, all right, that was crap. Do it again.
There's no doubt blasting away on bits of plastic, pretending to be some of the best bands of all time, singing some of the best songs of all time has been one of the great gaming successes of the last few years. And now, the biggest band of them all, the Beatles, gets their very own video game in the Beatles Rock Band.
The first thing that'll strike you is the respect the music's been shown. The track list is made up of original master recordings, so no dodgy covers, and features some of the Beatles' all-time classic songs.
We all live in a yellow submarine. When I'm home, everything seems to be right. Mommy got mommy love, and mommy love. Oh, since I saw her standing there. Diane Eggman, Diane Eggman,
The Beatles were together from 1960 to 1970, and in story mode you get to play through the key moments in their careers, from their early days in the Cavern, through to their conquering of America, to the latter stages of their careers and the Abbey Road sessions.
Music games are all about the music, and sometimes a career or story mode just feels tacked on. Just give us the track list. But if you are interested in the history of the Beatles and how huge they were at the time, then it is worth unlocking some of the achievements.
Yeah, initially I thought, whoop-de-doo, thanks for the picture unlock, but the accompanying text is really good, and the prize unlocks are interesting. Like the bonus recording the Beatles did just for fan club members in 1964.
Hello, this is John speaking with his voice. We're all very happy to be able to talk to you like this on this little bit of plastic. It all happened really when Please Please Me became a #1 hit, and after that, well, Quarter Blimey's Heather No.
Nice touch.
Technically, the game is superior to previous Rock Bands, case in point the calibration issue, which they've actually tried to fix. I did have one small beef with the Paul McCartney imitation guitar, however, at least the 360 version. The 360 button's on the bottom of the guitar, so if you play sitting down, play will constantly stop because of this.
Yeah, and did you notice how the same two girls keep popping up at all the gigs?
Hello.
Many of the songs feature three-part harmonies and some back-and-forth singing.
How do I feel at the end of the day? Are you sad because you're on your own?
But we found if you just sing the melody, the game is pretty forgiving. It's almost worth failing a song just to get a ribbing from one of the boys.
George, what did it sound like with the bass doing a funny thing? Did it sound any good or did it sound just locally crap?
Jung, I'm a huge Beatles fan. I really got into them during my summer of WoW.
Well, he was level 17, and you know what I mean.
And being able to play the solos in classic songs like Something is something I've always wanted to do. And it's great, and these songs are great. I know I'm only clicking buttons, and in real life I can only play 4 chords and I can only play them badly, but this is, for me anyway, what gaming can and should be. Gaming is an interactive experience, and with this game I am a Beatle, I'm playing the songs I love, and I feel fine.
Well, Badge, I'm not quite the Beatles fan you are, but there's no doubt they've treated the band's material with respect and they've captured the feeling of the Beatles. It's not hard to see why this is a great party game. I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
It's the first game where I can play and sing at the same time because I know the songs so well.
Say what you want to hear. I'm in love with you.
The track list is great, but there's some pretty big ones missing, like Hey Jude, Yesterday, and Blackbird.
I smell lots of downloadable content coming.
Yep, it's a nice touch to see your mate scores pop up on the tracks, and Jung, I'm giving it 9 out of 10 chart-topping chickens. And we mentioned Guitar Hero earlier. What do you think of number 5?
Yeah, it was good to see they've made some advancements in the franchise beyond just adding new tracks.
Yeah, you can tell they've spent a lot of time streamlining the game to remove a lot of those clunky menus, and it makes the game more inviting and more fun in general.
Now there's just one career mode for all the instruments, and if your mate comes over when you're halfway through, they can just jump in right then and there. But the best part is they can choose any instrument. Want 4 drummers at once? You got it. No one wants to play bass? They don't have to.
Also, now you don't have to play every song in the career to progress, which is good because you probably won't like them all. Having said that though, Guitar Hero 5 has a pretty good one. Not to mention all of your World Tour downloaded tracks will work, except for the Hendrix ones, unfortunately. You can also import a lot of songs from World Tour and eventually smash hits as well.
We mentioned the HD lag problem earlier, which is where the videos don't match up with the visuals exactly on certain TVs. Rock Band now has a clear advantage over Guitar Hero in this problem as they've actually tried to fix it, whereas the Guitar Hero solution seems to be widening the window in which you can hit a note. Frankly, this isn't quite good enough because in long sequences of hammer-ons and pull-offs, it really catches up to Guitar Hero. The Guitar Hero songs may be harder, but ironically, expert players will get a much cleaner experience with Rock Band Beatles. Other than that, there's not a whole lot more to say about Guitar Hero 5. I'm giving it 7.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, Jung, I'm gonna give it an 8.
Good game.
So were any of you savvy enough to deduce this week's mystery console?
If you could, you must have a good memory, because that was the soothing boot-up sound of the Sega Dreamcast, a console which recently celebrated its 10th anniversary.
And what's a birthday without a present? A brand new game has been released, Rush Rush Rally Racing, and we should totally get it on the show.
Absolutely. But another episode is coming to a close, Badge, so what can we look forward to next week?
Well, it was Many Games Journo's best of show from this year's E3, Scribblenauts for the DS.
Plus the latest Need for Speed, Shift.
And Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. Till then, you can see us online here.
Und hier.
And here.
Not here!
Till next week, gamers, Bajo out.
Junglist out.
Oh, I forgot to do the hand thing.
It's too late now.
I can do it if I want to do it. I'll do it. I like.
Can't do it. That doesn't count. Doesn't count.
So counts.